I apologize, since the last journal, it's been a while. When you want to become an Omni Hunter, you require a lot of time in the field, fighting monsters and fish. So much fish. Welcome back, welcome back, hunters, to another journal in my quest to become an Omni Hunter and master, well, at least play competently, all 14 weapons in Monster Hunter GU, and maybe even the Prowler while I'm at it. The last time in my journal entry, I shared that I was stuck on walls, which is why I have been away for a while. I have been grinding away with my community for at least 20 hours, trying to get out of low rank equipment into proper low high rank equipment, so that I can actually progress, because I was just not having a good time against these high rank monsters. And I'm happy to share, we're back with some decent weapons. So I have armor sets and weapons that are low high rank caliber, which should be able to get me to high rank Rathalos, which I think is a 9-star rank of quests. And then from that point on, I'm going to focus on a whole other grind so I can get a new armor set for end of high rank, as well as getting my weapons to that point. So let's do a little update on the weapons. I think that we've never done this on this journal series before, but I think it's important for all of you to know where am I in my weapons, because this whole journey is about weapon building. So editor, make this fun for me, please. So last time with the greatsword, that is now the Lacerator Blade, level 1, increasing my raw damage from 140 to 160. That thing can slay some monsters, and it did. It actually beat up a Lavasioth quite well. We're going to talk about that more in a bit. Last time with the long sword, I had the Mufa staff, level 3. Now it is a Tigrin edge at level 2, increasing my raw damage from 130 to 170. If you want to know affinity details, sharpness details, we're not going over that. I'm just giving you the highlights. You can go look at the weapon. So now the Tigrin edge can slice and dice everything except apparently a Dread Queen, Rathian, and a Drill Tusk. Tatsukabra, whatever, Tatsukabra. My Jin level 2 sword and shield last time has now been upgraded to level 4, increasing my raw damage from 130 to 190. And this is probably one of my best weapons. This is my best weapon, actually. And it's also one of my best grades. I am graded a B on this weapon, whereas the grades were, I actually don't know. I didn't write the grades for the other weapons. Going down to the dual blades, last time I was with the Cornu Wagai, I think it's called, level 1, which had a raw damage of 130. That has now been upgraded to the Lavasioth Cutlass level 1, which is now a raw damage of 170. The hammer, I'm still with the Emerald Beater level 3. Nothing has changed there. With my Hunting Horn, I'm still at a Strip Draganga level 1. Nothing has changed there. Those weapons were already pretty good last time I was using them. Then over in the Spear land, I went from a Spike Spear level 3 to a Verdant Tail level 2, doing absolutely nothing for my raw damage. It's still 130. However, it's a lot easier to upgrade a Verdant Tail, which only needs Astalos parts, than grinding the Spike Spear, which requires all sorts of gathering items that I don't often get. Going over to the Gun Lance, big moves have been made here, going from the Verdant Rook level 2, which was a 130 raw damage, upgrading that to the Red Devil level 4, which now has a 170 raw damage. And it went from a wide shelling to normal shelling, which means I can do so much more blasting now, which is all good. My Switch Axe went from a Deus Ex level 1 to 2, increasing my raw damage by 20 points from 120 to 140. Finally, the Charge Blade, no changes, still a good raw damage of 140 with the Tigrex Divide. Going over to the Insect Glaive, my new beloved, we now have the Hidden Scythe going from a 120 to a 140 raw damage. Going into the pew-pews, the guns. We've got the Hidden Eye upgraded from 120 to 130. Still not great, honestly, but I'm working on it. The Bite Blaster, which is my heavy bowgun, is now doing 180 raw damage from the 150 before, which is pretty significant. Probably my hardest hitting range weapon. Actually, no, my bow matches it. I upgraded from a Hunter's Stout Bow level 5, which had a raw damage of 140, going to a Silifis level 1 of raw damage 180. And it's got better range. I think it's got the rapid shot or something. Again, you can look up the weapons. All that to say, we're now aiming at about between 150 to 200 raw damage on my weapons, which is where I feel I should be. And it is actually allowing me to make progress at a decent state. Over on the armor front, as you may recall, I've been relying on the Buja Buja Boo set, which stands for the Bulldrome Jagras, Bulldrome Feet armor set. And I was working my way to grinding that into the high rank set, which is now done. But I did do a little mistake, and instead of doing the Buja Buja Boo at one point, I actually did the Buja Boo Boo Boo, which
ended up with a pretty slutty outfit, if I do say so myself. My cheeks were showing, let's just say. Another thing I did off stream that I didn't do that the community wouldn't have seen is I've actually cleared out all of my low rank Prowler quests. So I just enjoy doing that on the side sometimes. So all the low rank stuff in Village is done, not the hub. And now I'm slowly grinding out the high rank Prowler quests, as well as the Village, as well as the hub low rank ones. Oh, and then actually, before we talk about some of the hunts, I also have a new gunner set, which was recommended to me by Ads, one of our moderators, which I am dubbing the Clown Gunner because look at these shoes. These are the ugliest shoes I have ever seen. I got the 2 skill sets with this clown suit. One is Expert, which gives me critical hits with my guns. And then I've also got Fast Charge, which lets me reload my guns a little bit faster. Both very cozy and comfy to help me do hunts better when I'm shooting things down. This is the best set the community came up with that I could have in my early high rank part of the game. Apparently more better sets will unlock as I get closer to the end of high rank. So this is what I'm going to be using for now. Going over to some of my hunts, so I decided to go a little bit heavier into the Deviants. If you all remember that last journal that I covered with the Deviants, I got spanked hard by a Red Helm. And I was kind of like, I'm not touching these Deviants until I get into high rank. So after quite a bit of grinding, now I have a full high rank armor set. I've got some decent weapons. I'm like, it's time to revisit these Deviants. And unfortunately, I shouldn't have done this when I was using the longsword because I'm still not very proficient with the longsword. Anyways, I decided to go against the Dread Queen Rathian against my better judgment because people were like, it's Rathian, just harder. You fought this thing in Rise, basically, whatever. So I was like, yeah, all that makes a lot of sense. Let's give this a try. And I got destroyed. The Dread Queen is so aggressive. It's got that little disco ball, like turning maneuver that I hate. And the poison hit so hard. I don't remember if I brought antidotes or not, probably not. But like the poison was just not going away and it was just taking away all my health so fast. Yeah, so I died very fast to Dread Queen. I was like, okay, no poison monsters. So the next thing on the list was the Drill Tusk Tetsukabra. And I was like, well, I like Tetsukabra, so Drill Tusk is probably a harder version. And I went up against that with also the longsword and I got destroyed. They just hit so hard and they have new moves. This boy, he gets like the big rock either horizontally that explodes or he's got like a super jump now which just squishes you. Somehow I survived it. But yeah, just doing so much damage, moving so unpredictably, and me with my longsword just not being good enough. I couldn't defeat either of them. But luckily, I felt a lot of confidence going up against the Red Helm Arzros, which I don't know why my chat was like, don't do that. He's actually harder. You should do these other ones that are like low rank, the Tetsukabra and the Dread Queen. I was like, no, I know my bear. He swipes. He's pretty easy. And I went in later when I had my sword and shield in the rotation. And oh man, was this night and day. It was so much better. And I can finally say I killed my first Deviant solo with my sword and shield. I used the Jin sword. I just went like and just like back flipping because I was using what's the mode, Valor. So flipping on the bear, slashing at the bear, dodging the bear, flipping at the bear. It was a good time. And then I also took on the Silverwind, not the Najarala, the Nargacuga. I did that one in multiplayer though because I needed parts for a weapon and I was like, there's just no way I'm doing this solo. So we just went in multiplayer to farm the weapons. If I have to do this solo again, sometimes I will when I'm equipped up, but right now these Deviants are just a little bit too hard for weapons I'm less familiar with. With all of that, I was actually able to make a little bit of progress into high rank. So now I fought the Nursilla, which was the first time I fought it in this game, and I was fighting it with, again, the longsword, and at first I was struggling, and then it finally clicked, and also someone pointed out something that I forgot, which is when you jump off a ledge with the longsword, I can actually go swooshy swoosh by hitting the right button, and that creates a lot more like mounting damage, I think, and it just feels better, like it as an extra attack to my arsenal. So now I could swooshy swoosh off ledges, and I started getting more into the flow things, especially with Valor, to actually like anticipate an attack. And Nursilla is always so linear in its attack that it's pretty easy to figure out when it's going to hit you, and that went down. Also got to absolutely destroy a Celtis. That was like a palate cleanser from all the pain I did. I had the Sword and Shield, aka one of my best performing weapons against one of the weakest monsters in the game. Poor little Celtis didn't know what hit him. I think I got him in like 2 or 3 minutes. It was a good time. Then with the bow, I went up against a Nibblesnarf, which is probably not my best idea. This thing took 30 minutes to slay. And it's mostly because my ability with a bow is still questionable. No, I tried to make a pun there. It didn't work. Just the fact that Nibblesnarf is always underground is kind of a waste of time. You got to kind of chase him with the bow, and just getting my distancing was not so good. I had just rotated into the bow, so it was a little rusty there. It's not the best matchup, but still made it happen. And then after that, I got to unlock Lavasioth, which I loved taking down Lavasioth with the bow. And I was just shooting it, broke his chest, and then there I could like shoot some any kind of shots in there into his squishy, and I got him down in 15 minutes, even though chat's like, oh my god, bow with Lavasioth, what are you doing? It's gonna take forever, especially after that Nibblesnarf. I'm like, oh, come on, you haters. Sometimes, you know, my chat is very loud, and sometimes you just gotta say, shh, and you just gotta put a pillow over their faces. Yeah, the Lavasioth fight I really like. It's kind of like Kezu, where these monsters are so slow that being at a distance is a huge advantage, and you can just like shoot them off. It's really easy to do. All of this unlocked the next kind of stage of the story, which is we need to upgrade the ship to be able to outmaneuver Valstrax. And so there's 3 monsters. I forget what the third one is, but one is a Lavasioth, one is a Lavasioth. I was actually quite worried about these. So glad I got to take it on with the Great Sword, especially with Lavasioth, because this thing is absolutely ridiculously big. Like, I can't get over how big it is. Even someone came in on chat and they're like, is that a mod? Why is he so big? I don't know. They just really love to give this fish super long thighs. It's crazy. So with the Great Sword, it was good because I could actually reach. I can stay between his legs and just go like boom, boom. One thing I did not know, or at least I forgot, Lavasioth is actually able to put you to sleep, which I didn't know. He bit me and put me to sleep. What? I thought this was a water monster. I would have never have thought Lavasioth was a monster that invokes sleep. And after washing that, I got to fight Lavasioth for the first time since Monster Hunter World. And it is only now that I realize that there is a version of Lavasioth in Monster Hunter World which never registered for me. I thought Lavasioth was simply Gyarados in the lava. And even in this game, seeing Lavasioth, I'm like, this looks like Gyarados. What's going on here? Is he supposed to be a Lavasioth burnt, or is he supposed to be an entirely different monster? So anyways, I went against the Lavasioth with the Great Sword, which was way easier than the Lavasioth. And another thing I had forgotten with my Valor moveset with Great Sword was the fact that you can, I think you can run with it. I forget how to describe it, but you can basically unsheath into an attack, which was something I wasn't doing properly. Hopefully you guys can see it on screen because I don't remember how to explain it very well. But that was a game changer for just creating even more opportunities to hit the monster. And the Lavasioth doesn't move around that much, so he's perfect punching bag for a Great Sword. So this was, again, another great matchup. So I'm loving when my weapon is a good matchup with the monster and the difficulty is just right, and it's not a slug just to try to chase down the monster. And this is another main reason I want to do this pledge, was to freaking appreciate the monster matchups, because when you're only going through all the monsters with one weapon, you're gonna get one experience. But then when you start understanding that, oh, I don't have to be frustrated with Kezu if I just shoot him because I can just switch out to a light bowgun. Bloodbath Diablos is going to be interesting though, because I got to deal with him with all of my tools, which I'm sure will not go evenly. And the last notable thing I want to point out as a progress update to my journal here is I finally got a level up in one of my ranks. So my dual blades have been leveled up from a D grade to a C grade, and I forget what it was. I think it was a hunt with a high rank Rathian that earned me that bump, where I can finally start using these weapons a little bit more regularly. The reason that I think that they were in D for so long is because I kept pulling them out in multiplayer, and my chat does not grade my skill when I'm only in multiplayer. They only do it when I'm playing single player, and that I do something that they go, okay, he actually knows how to play this weapon. They're pretty tough teachers. I have yet to see an A, but I really hope that we're going to start collecting those. We're getting more Bs, so slowly the HeyJ report card is starting to increase in value, so we're getting there. So yeah, next up is pretty much progress until I make it to Rathalos high rank, and then I'm going to do some more grinding, get a whole new armor set for high rank, and then we're going to wrap up and get to the end of high rank, and then hopefully finish the story before Christmas. I want to finish the high rank story before Christmas, opening up G rank for early 2025, and then who knows how far I'll get into G rank before Wilds drop, but you're all here along with me, so we'll make it as far as we can, and we will do our best to finish this pledge. I'll see you all in the next video or the next stream, and until next time, keep it classy.